The keystone value in the United States is freedom and the right to self-determine our way of life and economic pursuits. It is a foundational principle that is so unique in the world and highly desirable. Many nations do not afford their citizens true freedom, and many people want to leave those nations and come to the United States to escape iron-fisted oppressive governance that is a staple of socialist regimes. Freedom. Consider the freedom of speech we enjoy in the United States. Right now, it seems like the United States is the only nation where people can speak their minds, voice their opinions without fear of retribution in the form of prosecution. The same freedom of speech these socialists light use to make radical claims and spew blatant lies." End quote. In Europe right now, we are seeing people being arrested for stating facts that the government deems inconvenient or troubling. You cannot speak out against the government or the protected classes in many nations in Europe right now. In other areas, you could be potentially jailed or worse for criticizing the head of state. Americans understand, for the most part, that we do not have to like the speech someone makes, but they have the right to speak their mind. And we have the right to counter that speech and provide an alternative argument. The best solution to misinformation and disinformation is someone providing speech that is based on facts, evidence, and data. Not censorship. We do not have to like what someone has to say to accept that they have the freedom to say it. And their right to speech does not negate another person's right to call out the points of difference. There is the ability to have a discourse without retribution from the government. Now, other institutions like employers or sponsors have their speech right to make it clear that they do not associate or support said speech. In America, we also have the right to live our lives in the manner of our choosing. In many nations, there are punishments for what they deem moral crimes. But, in the United States, there is a great level of freedom to choose your path in life. Now, there are some people that mistake freedom to do something as a requirement for others to champion their choices. Another person does not have to support your life choices and should not be coerced to cover the costs for it. But, you have the right to exist and not be charged with crimes for that choice as long as it does not harm another person. For all those people under the Queers for Gaza, they do not understand that in the Gaza region, there are harsh penalties for their lifestyle. A bit of irony. Furthermore, we have the right to choose what faith we want to practice or choose to not practice any faith. That is not something we should take for granted. As some nations, especially socialist and communist nations, have strong penalties for practicing religion or practicing religions that are not deemed the national religion. We enjoy the intellectual freedom to believe what we choose and not be forced to accept something as fact simply because we are told to. Because many times, what the public officials tell us at the time may change with new information and their approach and policy may not. It may be uncomfortable to some people, but we should be able to see past the emotions and want the facts. A society with freedom does not come without its challenges. There are always misperceptions about whose right is supreme to another's rights. As there have been times when public policy did determine whose rights were more important. It is true that the nation built on freedom and is currently the face of freedom did not do a great job of extending that freedom to all Americans. And that is a fair criticism. America neither created slavery nor discrimination, but did not end either early enough. But America has learned from our past indiscretions and have made great progress, which should not be overlooked. We should ensure that all people have equal rights to freedom, but we need to avoid trying to create new forms of discrimination. Our freedoms should push us to do great things. Innovate to push the boundaries of human achievement and improvements on the quality of life. Our freedom should be for the individual and social good, not creating social cost that others are burdened to cover. Too many people cry freedom to do personal and social harm and expect their fellow Americans to cover the costs. America is the land of the free and should continue to be that.